After weeks of rumors about us getting a Nintendo Direct sometime soon, it was finally delivered with a February Nintendo Partner Direct, and it was fine. I'll be upfront in saying that this Direct should have been a lot more. It didn't deliver on everything that people wanted, but at the same time, it's a Partner Direct. Expectations should probably be set. The bar should have been low. But for the first Nintendo Direct of 2026, this just wasn't what people were hoping to see. Hi, I'm Matt. I like to talk about video games, pop culture, and pretty much anything else that piques my interest. I liked this Nintendo Direct a lot more than apparently the rest of the internet. But even I have to admit that this was a little bit of a letdown. It feels like we saw a lot of games here, with a lot of variety, but at the same time, a large chunk of what we saw were things we already knew about. So it just kind of ended up being a mixed bag. I don't think that this was a bad Direct, but it definitely wasn't the best one either. It kind of just lands somewhere in the middle. So today, I'm going to break down this Nintendo Direct, what I liked and didn't like about it, and why I feel that this partner showcase is getting a lot of hate that it doesn't necessarily deserve. Starting with Orbitals. This was a pretty great way to start the Direct. This game was accidentally leaked by the developers prior to the Direct, but it looks awesome. It's a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive title that reminds me a lot of something like Cowboy Bebop mixed with the gameplay of It Takes Two. Orbitals launches this summer. And then we immediately jump into Paranormasight, The Mermaid's Curse. A quick way to kind of kill off the hype from the last announcement, but alright. This does look like an interesting puzzle-style game. You play as a pearl diver who encounters another version of himself. This title involves a lot of investigating, both in and outside of the water. I don't know if this is a game that I'm particularly interested in, but if it interests you at all, it launches February 19th. Up next was Captain Tsubasa 2 World Fighters, releasing later this year on both the Switch and the Switch 2. I've never been big in the sports game genre. I've been pretty open about that on this channel, but I have to admit that this one definitely piques my interest. I've only seen about 2 minutes of gameplay footage, and yet it already looks better than the entire game of Mario Strikers Battle League. So it has that going in its favor. I'm joking, this actually looks really unique and has a lot of character. It's not just a standard soccer game, which I actually really appreciate. And I'm sure that we're not going to see anything like that in this Direct. Next, we had a look at some games releasing for both the Nintendo Switch as well as the Switch 2, starting with Tokyo Scramble. This game looks interesting. I don't know how to feel about it yet. It's a stealth game where you discover an underground world full of these dinosaur creatures that will try to attack you, and there's no way to fight back. But you can analyze patterns, activate traps, and try to escape. The game has game share support, but it lets you share the controls, which I'm not sure if I know of any other game that really does that. This launches February 11th, with pre-orders starting today. Valheim, a survival game that launches later this year. Gather materials, hunt wildlife, build a house, create armor, items, and ships. Up to 10 players online can play in a world together, which is cool, but man, these graphics look rough. Like I'm not one to think that graphics are everything, and this game has gotten good reviews, but I don't know if this is something that I'll be picking up to play. Next was Hollow Knight Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. This features enhanced visuals and improved frame rates. Very cool. It launches today, and if you have the Nintendo Switch version of the game, it can be upgraded for free. So not much to complain about here. But speaking of those standard soccer games, we have eFootball Kickoff. And yeah, this just is not for me. Honestly, it just looks like a very generic title, which doesn't fare well considering we just got a really unique looking soccer game only a few minutes ago. This game just looks very unmemorable. I mean, obviously it has a target audience, and I'm just not a part of that audience. So sorry to any soccer fans that might be offended. This just isn't a game I have any interest in playing. But it launches this summer. Up next was The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. I know the HD 2D art style is starting to feel a little overused, but this is a game that I'm actually looking forward to the more and more that we see out of it. And yeah, the art style is a large reason why. The gameplay just looks like a lot of fun as well. This comes out June 18th. Up next is the Super Bomberman Collection. This is obviously a collection of Bomberman games, but it includes games that weren't previously released worldwide, as well as a new boss rush mode and game share support. This game is out now on both the Nintendo Switch and the Switch 2. Up next was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This looks really good for a Switch 2 game, like really good, especially when you consider that this is a PS5 game. This is a game that's really just going to be pushing the Switch 2 to its limits. Like, it's super impressive. It launches June 3rd with pre-orders beginning today. Getting this announced so soon after 7 Remake's launch is really smart considering a lot of people are still playing through that. And who knows, for as long of a game as that is, they may still be playing it by the time June 3rd rolls around. We got another look at Pragmata, which is another gorgeous looking game. This has such a unique battle system and just looks like a fun game. And it launches April 24th, day and date, with its release on other consoles. A demo is available today. Next was Turok Origins. I don't think I've ever played a Turok game in my life, and I'm not sure that this trailer necessarily sold me on this one either, but I will say that this is another great looking game. You can play solo or online, and you can swap between first and third person. Maybe I'll check this out when it launches this fall. Next was Kyoto Xandu, and it looks okay. It's a sequel to Tokyo Xandu, which I heard is actually a really good game, but nothing here is really standing out to me that much. This launches this summer on the Switch as well as the Switch 2. Up next was a small section full of anime-style games, starting with Digimon Storytime Stranger. So congratulations everyone, it looks like we're finally going to be having a good Pokemon game on the Switch 2. Now I love Digimon, we used to watch all the time when I was a kid, and this genuinely looks kind of cool. The Switch 2 version has 4K resolution as well as 30 frames per second, or you can play in HD at 60 frames per second. This launches on July 10th. This game has been getting really good reviews as well, so it's very cool to see it being added to the console. Next was Grand Blue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok. What an absolute mouthful of a name. Summon beasts to defeat enemies in single player or play in local online multiplayer. This launches on July 9th. We got another look at Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflections. We already knew about this from the previous Nintendo Directs. At this point, I feel like people who already knew that this game was coming out have kind of already made the decision on whether or not they plan to purchase it. But in any case, this game will release on March 13th, with a demo available today. And your save data from the demo can be transferred over to the full game once it's purchased. Next was Arcade Archives 2 Rave Racer, which releases on February 26th. And we got a look at Console Archives, which is available on the Switch 2 today. I really only find myself interested in maybe the Ninja Gaiden 2 game, but honestly, none of these are at the top of my list of games to be trying out. Up next was a sizzle reel, so I'll try to go through these quickly and break down what I know about these games. Scott Pilgrim EX was first. It's a new side-scrolling beat-em-up that acts as a sequel to the Netflix anime. I'm personally looking forward to this. I'm a big fan of the franchise as well as the original game from 2011. This releases March 3rd on both the Switch and Switch 2. Another Eden Begins. This is a time-traveling RPG adventure that features a command battling system. From what I understand, this used to be a mobile gacha game, but it's been remade and removed those elements and turned it into a single-player, offline game with multiple endings. It will be released this summer. Reanimal comes from the creators of the Little Nightmares games, which I've always really enjoyed playing. I just dig the atmosphere and the gameplay, and this looks to be very similar. This releases on February 13th. Next was WWE 2K26. I know that I previously said that these sports games are kind of just a dime a dozen, and the WWE 2K games are no exception, but as a WWE fan myself, I just think it's cool that we're getting these games on the Switch 2 at all, let alone the fact that we'll be getting this day and date with the rest of the consoles. 2K25, from what I understand, ran really well on the Switch 2, so if this runs just as well, this may be one that I pick up when it comes out on March 13th. Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown. This is a survival strategy game where you control the starship Voyager. It's not for me, but it will be released on February 18th. Disney Dreamlight Valley is getting a Nintendo Switch 2 edition, which is long overdue. I haven't had the chance to really dive into this game, but from what I understand, the Nintendo Switch version was visibly worse by a significant amount. So it's nice seeing that we'll be getting this upgrade to take advantage of the Switch 2's power. Next was PGA Tour 2K25, and it's definitely golf. Not for me, and I don't really know if I know anyone who actually plays these games. Again, clearly there's some audience for them, but I'm not a part of that audience at all. But if you're a part of that audience, this comes out on February 6th. Concept Begins Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. A card strategy game with over 400 unique cards with different creatures, items, and spells to defeat enemies. This releases on July 16th. Goat Simulator 3. This is an open-world sandbox game that is a sequel to Goat Simulator. I haven't played this particular game, but I played the original Goat Simulator back when it first came out. And if this is anything like that game was, it will be a lot of fun. This launches on April 1st. Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun. I don't really know a ton about this game. I know that it's a real-time tactics game that takes place in feudal Japan, and that it comes out on March 18th. But that's about all I know. Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn Edition. This is the complete edition of Tales of Arise, including both the base game as well as the Beyond the Dawn edition. This comes out on May 22nd. After the sizzle reel, we got another look at Resident Evil Requiem. This is another game that we've seen pop up at a couple of Nintendo Directs at this point, but I think that this trailer in particular was able to really show off how good it looks. The visuals, environments, every shot just looks stunning. Speaking of shots though, Leon, my god, you need to get some practice because you missed every single one. Play as Grace or as Leon Kennedy with two different play styles. This is another game that is launching day and date with other platforms on February 27th. We also got another quick reminder that Biohazard and Village are releasing on the same day, in addition to a Nintendo Switch 2 controller, as well as amiibo figures releasing this summer. The controller looks alright. I don't think that the design is anything spectacular, but if I recall correctly, this is the first Switch 2 controller variant. So if anything, this controller just has me looking forward to what better ones will be coming. The last major set of announcements came from Bethesda. Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition was first. This was previously announced during Bethesda's Fallout Day livestream back in October. But we got a better look at the game here, as well as a confirmed release date of February 24th, with pre-orders beginning today. I'm a little bit of a Fallout nerd myself. It's probably my favorite non-Nintendo franchise, and Fallout 4 is probably my favorite one to play. I know, sue me, okay? New Vegas is better, I know. The game was rigged from the start, I get it, calm down. I've just always enjoyed a lot of the setting and the mechanics that were introduced in this game. The gameplay looks alright. I won't lie, it does have some shots that look worse than others, like notably worse. but I'm just looking forward to being able to play this game on the go. Next was Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. The gameplay looks very comparable to the Xbox and PS5 versions, like it looks fantastic. The lighting effects, the shadows, the draw distances, everything just looks so detailed. This launches May 12th, with pre-orders beginning today, and this is going to be getting a physical release. No game key card, no code in a box, everything on the cartridge, ready to go day one, which, come to think of it, I don't even think you can say that about the Xbox or the PlayStation versions of the game. The final announcement was the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remaster, which launches later this year. Unlike Fallout 4 and Indiana Jones, this game was not previously announced for the Switch 2, and it looks pretty good. I know that this game had some performance issues on the Series X and PS5, so I'm curious to see how it will run on the Switch 2. And that was the Direct. Like I said, it was alright. It wasn't the best Direct in the world, but there was honestly a lot to love here. The biggest complaint that I've heard people say is that there wasn't really many games that were brand new here, and I think that's a pretty fair one. We knew about the vast majority of everything shown here, and while it's nice that we got some release dates for them, it would have been great to see a larger selection of new games instead of just rehashing what we already knew. But there were some previously announced third-party titles that I think people were hoping we would see more of, such as Elden Ring and the Duskbloods. Elden Ring has been delayed due to some performance issues, and the Duskbloods is supposed to be a big 2026 Switch 2 exclusive. So a lot of viewers were just hoping to see things like that rather than seeing a fourth look at Monster Hunter Stories. The few new things that we did get were mainly ports of games already released on other consoles. Some are more recent titles like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or the Oblivion Remaster, but some were also older titles like Fallout 4, which is a 10-year-old game. I think people just wanted to see something actually new from this Direct. I also think that viewers were hoping to see some kind of dream port, something spectacular, something visually and technically impressive, and just something that nobody knew was coming. Maybe this could have been something like a Red Dead Redemption 2, or Clair Obscur Expedition 33, or maybe we were expecting to see a franchise that fans have been eagerly waiting to make its Switch debut, such as Call of Duty, or maybe even Halo Campaign Evolved. The one thing that this Direct did do right is it really showed off what the Switch 2 is capable of. I may not be interested in every single game that was shown off here, but at the end of the day, I can walk away and know what this hardware can handle. There may be some drawbacks from, say, a PS5 Pro version of a particular game, but the fact that these are even comparable at all should be an impressive feat. We're looking at all of these ports and complaining about wanting something new, but back on the Switch, it was such a huge deal to see a high-quality third-party title being brought over. Like, remember Doom 2016 or The Witcher 3? Or even as recent as Red Dead Redemption? These were games that we swore up and down were miracle ports, even when they had some notable visual downgrades and hiccups. But now that we have titles that look nearly identical to the rest of the competition and we're complaining, we're acting like because we got some games a year or two later than everywhere else means that we're cooked. We're acting like the Switch 2 is a failure over this kind of stuff when, dog, it's been 7 damn months and look at what we have and look what's going to be coming. Also, so many of these games, as far as we know, aren't getting any delays. A lot of them were announced to be getting day and date releases, which is something that we could have only dreamed about with the Switch 1. Alright, so maybe you disagree with me there. That's fine. Let's take a look at it this way. Having these games that were previously announced out of the way during a partner Direct allows it so the next full Nintendo Direct can focus on bigger games and new announcements. I'd rather see all of this stuff that we already knew about here and not at a showcase that focuses on the major first-party exclusives and big surprises. So, is this a bad Nintendo Direct? In my eyes, no, not at all. If anything, it shows us how much third-party support we're going to be getting over the next few years on this console. It shows us how much of a powerhouse the Switch 2 is. It shows us another look at a lot of games that we were looking forward to without bogging down a normal Nintendo Direct. I just think that there was a lot to like in this Direct, even if I do feel pretty mixed overall. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Indiana Jones, Resident Evil, Pragmata, and Orbitals all look fantastic. Maybe I'm just coping too hard, I don't know. Maybe I'm biased because there were quite a few games that I'm looking forward to playing here. I didn't love the Direct, I'm not going to sit here and praise it, but I don't think it was that bad. Could these have been Twitter announcements? Maybe. But I do think that a lot of these games needed the time to be properly shown off here. At the very least, this Partner Direct is, in my eyes, better than the one that we received last year. The games feel more substantial here, and even if I'm not going to pick up every single one, I feel like most of them at least had a reason for being here. Still, I hope that we get a general Nintendo Direct sometime in the near future, or maybe even an Indie World Direct. Something that just allows us to look forward to what the future of this system holds. I hope that we get release dates for all of these third-party games that people are just waiting to know more about. And most of all, I just hope that whatever Nintendo Direct comes next doesn't have any more fucking soccer games. So, what did you think of this Partner Direct? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, please give it a like, and be sure to follow me on all of these social media platforms. But whatever you do, I just want to thank you for watching this video. We'll be having plenty of games coming to the Switch 2 in the very near future, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell to keep up to date on all of my latest videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.